Good evening, guys. It is January 4th of 2026, and we are reading our Bible in a year. This officially gets us caught up. So starting tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow morning, I'll get up early enough to I can do this live in the morning. For those of you all headed to work, or you can listen to it throughout the day, we can get through the Bible in a year together. The reason I am doing this, I kind of hope this spreads out through everybody else that says they're trying to read the Bible in a year. I grew up in a church, and I don't think I've ever read the Bible from front page to back page, and that's what we're going to do together. So we are on January 4. When I first started, it took an extra day to get my live set up, but here we are. So let's go ahead and get started. If you'll bear with me, I said these last maybe 15 minutes to maybe 20 at the most. It's about 3 pages together is what we'll read each day. Surely you can handle 3 pages a day. So put this on while you're driving in the car. You got 15, 20 minutes while you're cleaning the house, whatever it is, and you and I can get together and read through the Bible in a year as a team. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about Genesis 8:1 through 10:32, and then I'm going to break it down real quick, and then we'll move on to the New Testament, and then Psalms and Proverbs. So Genesis 8:1 through 10:32. Then God turned his attention to Noah. So what had just happened was Noah built the ark, and 40 days and 40 nights it rained, and basically wiped out everything on earth. And this is where it picks up. Then God turned his attention to Noah and all the wild animals and farm animals with him on the ship. God caused the wind to blow, and the flood waters began to go down. The underground springs were shut off, the windows of heaven closed, and the rain quit. Inch by inch, the water lowered. After 150 days, the worst was over. On the 17th day of the seventh month, the ship landed on Ararat mountain range. The water kept going down until the 10th month. On the first day of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains came into view. After 40 days, Noah opened the windows that he had built in the ship. He sent out a raven. It flew back and forth, waiting for the flood waters to dry up. Then he sent a dove to check on the flood conditions, but it couldn't even find a place to perch. Water still covered the earth. Noah reached out and caught it, brought it back into the ship. He waited 7 more days and sent out the dove again. It came back in the evening with a freshly picked olive leaf in its beak. Noah knew that the flood was about finished. He waited another 7 days and sent the dove out a third time. This time it didn't come back. In the 601st year of Noah's life, on the first day of the first month, the flood had dried up. Noah opened the hatch of the ship and saw dry ground. By the 27th day of the second month, the earth was completely dry. God spoke to Noah, "Leave the ship, you and your wife and your sons and your sons' wives, and take all the animals with you, the whole menagerie." Wow, nobody uses that word often. Menagerie of birds and mammals and crawling creatures, all that swarming extravagance of life, so they can reproduce and flourish the earth. Noah disembarked with his sons and wife and his sons' wives. Then all the animals, crawling creatures, birds, even the creature on the face of the earth, let, left the ship, family by family. Noah built an altar to God. He selected clean animals and birds from every species and offered them a burnt offering on the altar. God smelled the sweet fragrance and thought to himself, "I'll never again curse the ground because of people. I know they have this bent towards evil from an early age, but I'll never again kill off everyone living as I've just done. For as long as the earth lasts, planting and harvesting, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never stop." God blessed Noah and his sons. He said, "Prosper, reproduce, fill the earth. Every living creature, birds, animals, fish, will fall under your spell and be afraid of you. You're responding for them. All living creatures are yours for food. Just as I gave you the plants, now I give you everything else, except for meat with the lifeblood still in it. Do not eat it. But your own lifeblood I will avenge. I will avenge it against both animals and other humans. Whoever sheds human blood, by humans, let his blood be shed, because God has made humans in his image, reflecting God's very nature. You're here to bear fruit, reproduce, lavish in the earth, live bountifully." Then God spoke to Noah and his sons. "I'm setting up my covenant with you, including your children who will come after you, along with everything alive around you, birds, farm animals, wild animals that come out of the ship with you. I'm setting up my covenant with you. that never again will everything living be destroyed by floodwaters. No, never again will flood destroy the earth. God continued, "This is the sign of the covenant I am making between me and you and everything living around you, and everyone living after you. I'm putting my rainbow in the clouds, a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. From now on, when I form a cloud over the earth and the rainbow appears in the cloud, I'll remember my covenant between me and you and everything living, that never again will floodwaters destroy all life. When the rainbow appears in the cloud, I'll see it and remember the eternal covenant between God and everything living, every last living creature on earth." And God said, "This is the sign of the covenant that I've set up between me and everything living on the earth." The sons of Noah who came out of the ship were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham was the father of Canaan. These are the three sons of Noah. From these three, the whole earth was populated. Noah, a farmer, was the first to plant a vineyard. He drank from its wine, got drunk, and passed out, naked in his tent. Ham, and father of Canaan, saw this, and his father was naked, and told his brothers who were outside the tent, Shem and Japheth, took a cloak, held it between them from their shoulders, walked backward, and covered their father's nakedness, keeping their faces turned away so they did not see their father's exposed body. When Noah woke up, he hung over, hangover. He learned what his youngest son had done. He said, "Cursed be Canaan, a slave of slaves, a slave to his brothers. Blessed be God, the God of Shem, but Canaan shall be his slave." God prospers Japheth, living spaciously in the tents of Shem, but Canaan shall be his slave. Noah lived another 350 years following the flood. He lived a total of 950 years and died. This is the family tree of the sons of Noah, Shem, and Japheth. After the flood, they themselves had sons, the sons of Japheth: Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tabal, Meshech, Tiras. The sons of Gomer: Ashek, Kinza, Rippeth, Torgam. Good Lord, y'all, bear with this. The sons of Jamin: Elisha, Teresh, Kittim, Radam. The seafaring peoples developed from these, each in its own place by family, each in its own language. We're going to go into some of these names, and I can say that when I was reading the Bible in the past, I always skip over this, so just kind of bear with me because it's some of these names. The sons of Ham, Kesh, Egypt, Put, Canaan. The sons of Cush, Seba, Haviath, Shebeth, Ram, Raham, Septa. The sons of Raham, Sheba, Dedan. Cush also had Nimrod. He was also the first great warrior of the earth. He was the great hunter before God. There was a saying like Nimrod, a great hunter before God. His kingdom got its start with Babel, then Erech, Akkad, Kelen, in the country of Shinar. From there he went up to Ashur and built Nineveh, Rehoboth, Ir, Kala, Rezin, between Nineveh and the great city of Kala. Egypt was ancestor to the Ludum, the Anamim, Lehibim. Lord, I am not Jewish. Nepethim, and the Perislim, Casilium, the origin of the Philistines, and Caporium. Canaan had Sidon, his firstborn, Heth, and the Jebusites, the Amorites, the Girgashites, wow, the Hivites, the Erkites, the Sinites, the Arvadites, Zemarites, and the Hamathites. Later, the Canaanites spread out, going from Sidon toward Gerar as far south as Gaza, and then east all the way over to Sodom, Gomorrah, Adam, Zebolim, and Elisha. These are the descendants of Ham by family, language, country, and nation. Shem, the older brother of Japheth, also had sons. Shem was ancestor to all the children of Eber. The sons of Shem: Elam, Ishur, Pharex, Lud, and Aram. The sons of Aram: Uz, Hul, Gether, and Meshech. Y'all say a prayer for me. Eliphaz had Selah, and Selah had Eber. Eber had two sons, Peleg, so named because in his day the human race divided. and Joktan. Joktan had Elamad, Sheleph, Hazaremeth, Jerah, Hadaram, Uzol, Dekal, Obam, Abimal, Sheba, Opiram, Haveleth, and Jobah, all sons of Jokan. Their lands goes to the Mesha towards Safar and as far as the mountain ranges in the east. These are the descendants of Shem by the family language, country, and nation. This is the family tree of the sons of Noah as they developed into nations. From them, nations developed all across the earth after the flood. Wow, that was painful. Was that painful for you? Because that was really painful for me. So, what I have down here is from Genesis 8:1 to 10:32. It says, God remembers Noah, the flood waters recede, and Noah steps into a new beginning. He worships first, and God responds with a covenant. Never again will he destroy the earth by flood, sealing it with the rainbow. Humanity is given responsibility, multiply, steward life, and respects the sanctity of blood. Then comes human weakness again. Noah's drunkenness and Ham's dishonor reveal the sin survived the flood. God still moves his plan forward through Shem. Chapter 10 traces the nations, showing that God is intentionally populating the world, setting the stage for redemption through one chosen lineage. Fresh start, same need for grace. That was a lot, y'all. So if you're still hanging out, I really appreciate it because that was a mouthful. Matthew 4:12 through 25. When Jesus got word that John had been arrested, he returned to Galilee. He moved from his hometown, Nazareth, to the lakeside village Capernaum, nestled at the base of the Zebulun and Zephatha hills. This move completed Isaiah's revelation. Land of Zebulun and land Naphtali, road to the sea over Jordan, Galilee, crossroads for the nations, people sitting out their lives in the dark, saw a huge light, sitting in the dark, dark country of death. They watched the sun come up. This Isaiah prophesied revelation came to life in Galilee. The moment Jesus started preaching, he picked up where John left off. Change your life. God's kingdom is here. Walking along the beach of Lake Galilee, Jesus saw two brothers, Simon, later called Peter, and Andrew. They were fishing, throwing their nets into the lake. It was their regular work. Jesus said to them, come with me, and I'll make you a new kind of fisherman out of you. Have you heard? Come with me, and I'll make you fishers of men. I'll show you how to catch men and women instead of the perch and bass. They didn't ask questions, but simply dropped their nets and followed. A short distance down the beach, they came upon another pair of brothers, James and John, Zebedee's sons. These two were sitting in a boat with their father, Zebedee. Mending their fish nets, Jesus made the same offer to them, and they were just as quick to follow, abandoning boat and father. From there, he went all over Galilee. He used synagogues for meeting places and taught people the truth of God. God's people was his theme. That beginning right now, they were under God's government, a good government. He also healed people of their diseases and of the bad effects of their bad lives. Word got around the entire Roman province of Syria. People brought anybody with a sickness, whether mental or emotional or physical. Jesus healed them, one and all. More and more people came, the momentum gathering besides those from Galilee. Crowds from the 10 towns across the lake, others from Jerusalem and Judea, still others from across the Jordan. So Matthew 4:12 through 25 says, this is me breaking it down. Jesus begins his public ministry after John's arrest, declaring, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Light moves into darkness. He calls ordinary men, fishermen, to follow him, showing the obedience matters more than credentials. Jesus teaches, preaches, and heals, and crowds follow because authority and compassion are combined. I'm going to read that again. Jesus teaches, preaches, and heals, and crowds follow because authority and compassion are combined. This passage shows the launch of the kingdom movement. Repent, follow, be transformed, and bring light to others. Wow, that's deep. Let's sit on that for just a second. Kingdom movement is to repent, follow, be transformed, and bring light to others. Ask yourself, that was deep. So now we're into Psalms 4:1 through 8. When I call, give me answers. God, take my side. Once in a tight place, you gave me room. Now I'm in trouble again. Grace me, hear me. You rabble, how long do I put up with your scorn? How long will you lust after lies? How long will you live crazed by illusion? Look at this. Look, we've got picked by we who got picked by God. He listens the split second I call to him. Complain if you must, but don't lash out. Keep your mouth shut and let your heart do the talking. Build your case before God and wait for his verdict. Why is everyone hungry for more, 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 they say. More, more. I have God's more than enough, more joy in the ordinary day than they get in all their shopping sprees. At day's end, I am ready for sound sleep, for you, God, have put my life back together. Psalms 4 1 through 8, the breakdown says David cries out to God under pressure, choosing trust over anxiety. Did you hear me? Trust. Under pressure, choosing trust over anxiety. He confronts those who chase lies and remind himself that God hears the righteous instead of reaching emotionally. David's pause reflects and worships. The psalm ends with peace, not because circumstance changed, but because confidence in God did. True security doesn't come from abundance, it comes from God's presence and favor. We're going to read now. The last of it is Proverbs 1:25 through 28. Bear with me, almost done. Since you laugh at my counsel and make a joke of my advice, how can I take you seriously? I'll turn the tables and joke about your troubles. What if the roof falls in and the whole life goes to pieces? What if a catastrophe strikes and there's nothing to show to show for your life but rubble and ashes? You'll need me then. You'll call for me, but don't expect an answer. No matter how hard you look, you won't find me. So tomorrow we are going to talk about Genesis 11:1 through 13:4. We're going to talk about Matthew 5:1 through 26, Psalms 5:1 through 12, and Proverbs 1:29 and 33. We'll work on that tomorrow. And again, this is for those of you that have been talking about reading the Bible and you just, for whatever reason, don't do it. I made it till about May last year. And I'm going to, like I said, this is for me. If you want to jump on board and do it with me, more power to you. We will see you all tomorrow. I love you. You guys have a good night.